Okay, here I am, another night of classes on Oils 365 page. And I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes here, not a couple of minutes, couple seconds, and see if we get some people on. Otherwise, I will just get started and you all can watch this later. So in the meantime, what I'm talking about today is we're going to talk about sharing the Young Living business. Hi, Marty. I'm just going to wait a couple seconds. Hey, Carmen. I'm just going to wait about 1 minute to see if I get some people on, and then we'll get going. Thank you for being here, ladies. Anyways, I'm really excited to start sharing. Hi, Chris. Tonight about the Young Living business, a little bit about my story, why I'm so passionate about this business, and just to really, why you might want to consider doing this business. I posted earlier today saying that I just wanted people to get on and just be open. This is really, Young Living, doing the business Young Living is definitely not for everybody. I was looking it up in the income disclosure sheet, and really about 96 or 97% of the people never even share the oils. So this is, again, not an opportunity that is open to everybody, but I love to people to hear all of what Young Living has to offer, because as the title of this class today is Wellness, Purpose, and Abundance, Young Living does offer all of them. So even if this isn't an opportunity that maybe resonates with you, or it's something that you want to do in your life right now, we never know where life may lead a year or two down the road, or maybe you've got a friend who is looking for something and this might be just exactly what they're looking for. You just never know. So that's why I decided to go ahead and do this. So I'm going to get started and we'll go from there. And so ladies, please chime in if you've got anything else you want to share about the Young Living opportunity as I go along. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jill Lebofsky, and I am the executive director with Young Living. I'm also one of the leaders of our Oils 365 team, and that's the page that you're on right now. And I've been a member of Young Living for 3 years, and it has definitely been like the most awesome 3 years. This is the first time that I'm doing a class like this. I share the oils all the time without hesitation, but the business side just doesn't slip off my tongue quite as easily. But I just decided recently, who am I to decide what is right for somebody else? Because I know that there have been often times that somebody never would have thought that I'd be interested in something, and I was, or the opposite way. And every morning I wake up and I see a slew of posts from my friends. I call them like the I hate my job posts, where they're talking about, they have to go to work, they're dragging their butts out of bed, they've got their 7th cup of coffee, and all of that. And I just sit quietly, and I have a solution to that, and I don't say anything. And I have friends posting about, how they hate their coworkers, or they just wish they could be home with their babies. And again, I just sit quietly, kind of, I guess, out of fear of what they might think. But I started thinking about it, and really, what are those posts? They're just little cries for help, right? People don't necessarily want to ask directly, but when you're saying something over and over again, it's sort of like a little bit of a cry for help. And again, I'm not saying anything, and I have something that can help. So I just decided I needed to get over myself, share my love of all things Young Living, because I love all parts of Young Living, the wellness, the purpose, and the abundance, the opportunity that it's offered me. And if it gets some people excited, they're going to follow. And if it's not, then it's not a great fit for them. No big deal. You just never know who along the way this may just have, spark a little something in. So a little bit about my story. I am, first off, and for those of you who know me, I'm a big lover in doing what you love to do, and the abundance will follow. The money will follow. I have always turned my favorite activities, my passions, into my jobs. But not job in the traditional 9-to-5 sense, because yes, I've done that, been there, definitely done that, and I didn't do it very well. For some reason, they expect you there, like on time, every single day, and for those of you who know me, that's just really not in my DNA. So I'm definitely not made to work for somebody else. But I have always worked on something and working on my own terms. And starting with my very first home business, when my son was 3 and my baby was in my belly, my little one, and I started, I knew nothing about running a business, starting a business. I knew nothing. All I knew is that I loved to scrapbook. I lived in a brand new town. I had no friends. There was no scrapbook store in town to meet people who did things that I liked. So I decided I was just going to start my own scrapbooking business. I did my research. I learned about licensing and permits and sales tax and fictitious names and all these things. And I just started teaching classes in my home, doing vending events. And I even had a store set up in my home that people would actually, I had hours and people would come and shop. I had tons of inventory. It was so much fun, and I met some awesome people. Actually, one of them is one of my Young Living business builders, so it shows you how relationships that you form, you never know when that comes back around. But I always had packed classes and was constantly purchasing new products to keep my clients interested. The thing with that business was you have to purchase things in 50 packets or 50 sheets of paper. Unless you got 50 people wanting the same 50 sheets of paper, it's a lot of different paper. And let me just say, 10 years after that business has closed, I still have thousands of dollars worth of inventory sitting in my garage that I just can't quite get rid of yet. I don't know. One day I'm going to get back to scrapbooking again, and I might want a piece of paper. I don't know. But I had all this inventory. And so moving on, I moved on to, after that business, after my baby was born, I started as a Weight Watchers leader. The health kind of thing kind of started to kick in for me. This was really one of my first big steps into looking at alternative health and just healing my body and through nutritional ways. And it was something that, after I really got on their program and I lost weight on their program and I loved their program, I wanted to teach it because that's what I love to do. But after a few years of running around all over town, I just realized the little amount I was getting paid for my time, my expertise, my knowledge, I wasn't building my dream. I was building somebody else's dream. And I didn't like that very much. So that was kind of the first time I was ever started to dabble a little bit in MLMs, multi-level marketing, and we'll talk about what that is in just a little bit. But that was my first kind of venture into that. And, I loved the products that I was using. I always did. They always helped me. But I never felt like they were like it. And even though I was out there promoting them, the company, the people I was working with, they just weren't me. It just wasn't a right fit. They were all about the money. They'd say anything. And although I was successful in my way, it just never felt right. Sorry about that. And after a while, I just wanted to, just kind of put the whole selling products thing aside, and I just wanted to do a service. I just wanted to, teach people what I had been learning about healthy living and what I had been doing, and just start to help them live healthy and happy lives. And I had suffered for years with low back issues, and I had been taking Pilates, and it was helping me heal. So once again, I turned that passion for my Pilates into my career. I got certified, and I taught classes all over the Treasure Coast. I traveled from about 20 minutes north of where I lived to about 40 minutes south of where I lived. And sometimes I would do all of that traveling in one day. And I would pay to be in other people's spaces. And I loved it, but it was tiring. And after a while, it was just, it was getting kind of tired of it. And I went and I opened up my own Pilates studio 4 years ago. And for most people, that would be the dream. Your own brick and mortar storefront that was all your own. But it was never my dream. I am all about flexibility, freedom, coming and going when I please. But at the time, it was a deal I couldn't pass up, and I took it. And the truth is, I don't regret that either. I loved my space. I really created what I consider a sacred space. I do believe that when people walked in my doors, they felt nurtured yet challenged, and I just made many, many friends. I think just about all of you who are on this call right now, and many of these people are doing oils with me as well, because they too are getting healthy as I was learning, they were learning. But I knew the studio, as much as I loved it, wasn't my ticket to financial freedom. And ultimately, that is my big goal, is to have financial freedom. And I'm going to define to you what that is in a little while for myself. But I knew the unlimited wealth that I was looking for so that I could do all this good in the world that I wanted to. I needed something else. And I had been using Young Living for a couple of years and at this point, and I had been sharing the Young Living, and I started looking at my paychecks and started figuring out exactly what was coming and going with the studio. And I started to realize that I was actually, after all was said and done, making more money in my Young Living business than I was at the studio. And after a while, we live in Florida, and it's a very seasonal place, so we boom in the winter, in the summer. It gets slower because the snowbirds go home, but the people who live here then go and travel to see the snowbirds up north. So it definitely gets slower. And I just started to assess the situation, and I just decided that my heart and my passion was Young Living, and that's where the money was. And that's really where I was going to be able to, I feel like, affect the most change and really take what I've been doing on a small level and bring it to a national and international, hopefully one day level. So I did go ahead and I closed my studio. And I just have never looked back. It's been a really wonderful choice for me. And when I decided to get involved with Young Living, what appealed to me so much was that it was just a natural fit with my own personal beliefs and the healthy career path I had chosen. And the more I learned about the company as a corporation, their integrity, their mission, and I met some of the leaders in the company, personally, I could just see these were genuine people. Like, I fit here. I belonged here. These were my people, for sure. These are people who genuinely wanted to help people first and knew that if they did that, the money would follow. And it has for all of us. So let me see what else I wanted to say here. So tonight, this class, so that was kind of just, where my story has been. And so now here I am, I'm doing Young Living full time. I love what I do every single day. And tonight's class isn't like a hard sell about do this Young Living business, because in fact, I don't think this business is right for most of you. I mean, as I said earlier, 97% of the people just love their oils and they never share with anybody. But if you're willing just to listen to me for a little while with an open mind and an open heart, and listen to your thoughts as I'm talking and what they're saying to you, this may be an awesome business that you might get a little spark, and this may just spark something in you that might say, wow, maybe this could change my life. And maybe we want to take a little bit closer look after this call into Young Living and what it could do for you beyond just making you feel good. Young Living's motto is wellness, purpose, and abundance. And if you are looking for more of those three things in your life, then really this might be the door that is opening. Okay, so I'm about to use these words that sometimes freak people out. Here they go. Network marketing. Who's running? Or who's running right now, right? Multi-level marketing. Are you all like heading for the hills? For some of you, you may not know what those words are, but for some of you, all you're saying is pyramid scheme, pyramid scheme. That's all that you're hearing, right? And I just want to tell you, right, we have to just kind of get this elephant out of the room. Young Living is not a pyramid scheme. And you know how I know that? Because a pyramid scheme is illegal. I am not doing anything illegal, nor would I want to get my closest friends and family involved in anything illegal. But there is a reason why I think people think that, and I think it's the way that it's structured. People don't really understand it. I think they just throw that word around because somebody else has said it, or years ago, when things weren't regulated and so forth, maybe that was true, and maybe they had a bad experience 25 years ago, whatever it was. But that is definitely not the case, and that is definitely not the case with Young Living. I used to get offended, actually, when people would say, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. But as I said, I just realized they don't really know what it means. But what a pyramid scheme means is it means that the person at the top makes all the money. And the people below them can work as hard as they want, as long as they want, and they can never make more money than the person at the top, right? And usually there's one person at the top, and very few people even get to the top. And also, the people that how much they work, and maybe they can move up the ladder, but that's only if somebody else deems them worthy, no matter how hard they work. And even if they do get that promotion, what's going to happen then? They still can't make more money than the person above them until they get to the next level there. And that's really that's how a corporation works. So people talk about a pyramid scheme, but when I think of a pyramid scheme, I think of here's the president, here's the vice president, and here's all the worker bees. It's a pyramid. All right, may not be called that directly, but that definitely is what that is. And after 40 years of working for a company, if you've saved, you might have enough money to live the rest of your life. But these days and age, I don't know how true that it is. You walk into any Publix or Walmart, and there's a lot of senior citizens working there still. So that's telling me a lot of these people put their time in, and they still don't have the money after their retirement to do all the things they want to do. They're still having to work. And that doesn't sound very good to me. Now, multi-level marketing is a different way of doing business, and it actually is the new way of doing business. It's somebody today in one of my classes was talking about how, people have to start thinking about kids when they're going into their careers. Is their career going to be obsolete 5 years from now? Is what they're doing going to be necessary? Is a robot or is a computer going to do that work? So multi-level marketing is a means of spreading the word about a high quality product, usually but the word is spread by using the members who love it and are out there blabbing about it anyways, and they love it and they become their sales force and their advertising. And then the company can take that money that they normally would have put into all that, the kind of traditional company, and they can put it into their compensation plan and compensate their distributors for out there sharing their products and sharing what they love anyways. In Young Living, that is how it works. And Young Living is noted in this industry as having one of the best compensation plans. They truly put their business builders or distributors first, because they know that we're the ones out there leading this mission of theirs to get these oils into the hands of everybody on the face of this planet, and they can't do it. We all have to. So they pay us really well to do that. And here's the other thing. So, where it is. So the person at the top, that was one of the big things about pyramids, always makes the most money. That is not true at all. In Young Living, many of the Royal Crown Diamonds, which is the highest ranking thing that you can reach in Young Living, many of them have people who introduce them to the oils, or people above them and above them, who they're making a lot more money than them. Why? Because they're out there, they're working their business, they're putting in the efforts, they're consistently doing it every day, and they're just outpacing those people who are above them. And there's nothing wrong with that either way, but the fact that you can make more money than the person who introduced you to this business. It's really up to you and your efforts how quickly that happens, and there's nothing to stop you. There's nothing to hold you back, just your own head. So that's about it. And what else did I want to say about that? So pretty much, all you need to do this business is basically you just need a team of people also below you to help you do this business. And when I say a team of people, not employees who don't care about your business, I'm talking about a team of people that you lead, you motivate. A team where everybody needs each other to be successful. And you all have the opportunity to reach the top. And you have the opportunity to bring your friends and family along with you to the top. There's not many businesses that you can do that. And that's why I love this. And this is just why I want to take everybody with me. And I want everybody to share the Young Living business and get on this oily train. And to me, that sounds a lot more like a community of people working for each other's highest good, as opposed to a pyramid scheme, right? A lump of brick. So anyways, okay, so that's kind of my whole pyramid scheme talk. Now let's kind of talk about the small business owner. Because that's kind of living the dream, right? People owning their own business, and I had my own business, brick and mortar business. But there's the thing about that. Everything, when you have a small business, is on your shoulders. Everything. You are responsible for everything from the second the lights turn on till they turn off. Whatever happens, goes well or goes wrong, it's on your shoulders. My husband would laugh when he would call me at the studio and I'd be like, I can't talk right now, I'm scrubbing the toilet and I'm mopping the floor. And he'd be like, You don't even do that at home. But who's going to do it at my business if I don't do it? I was a one-man show. So it was up to me to do that. You do everything when it's your place, when it's your business. You need to show up for your business to be open. You need to show up for you to make money. If you're sick and you don't show up, guess what? You don't make money that day. Or you leave it in the hands of employees who are there for most likely a paycheck. They are not invested in your business the way that you are. They don't love on you. Most don't love on your clients the way that you do. You always need to be learning. You always need to be marketing. You always need to be buying inventory. You've got bills to pay, whether that inventory sits or not. At the end of the month, that landlord wants his money. The lights need to be kept on, no matter how much money you've brought in. And believe me, there are so many awesome upsides for owning your own small business. There truly, truly are. But loving something and the daily grind, the daily ins and outs are just totally different things. And with multi-level marketing, and again, particularly Young Living, you get what I can think is all the upsides of owning a small business, like being independent, But instead of having to show up every day at set store hours and probably before and probably long after, you have a flexible schedule that works with your life. Instead of employees, you've got team members with a vested interest in a similar goal. With Young Living, we don't carry any kind of inventory except for what we use for our personal use. Very few people I know sell retail. Now, maybe some of those people who are up there higher in the ranks, a lot of them do carry a lot of extra products, so they have it on hand to give out to people when they purchase it right then, but they do still get them enrolled with Young Living. They don't just sell an oil or sell a product. They get them enrolled and they get their membership, because we all know that what we're here for is not to sell an oil. We are here to really make a huge impact on this world and teach people about toxin-free living and teach people about how they can live a healthy life so easily by just changing over their products. So we are definitely not the Avon lady. That's what I always say. We empower our members to be their own health advocate, and we just educate and support them along that journey. And people talk about not having enough time. When you're your own business owner, right, and you have a brick and mortar, you're there all day long. When do you get to do anything else? Or if you're working for somebody else 9 to 5, that was always my issue. When do you go to the post office? When do you go to the doctor's office, right? People talk about never having enough time. I totally get that. I'm a busy woman. I, always am volunteering for things. I'm on boards of things. I got kids. I got dogs. I got husbands. I got, parents, in-laws. I get it. Okay, but what I love about this business is you can work on your time. You can work daytime, you can work evening, you can work as much or as little as you want, and still your business will grow. As long as you are paying it some attention, it will grow. You can work around your family life, your full-time job, your other obligations. We all ultimately know that we find time to do the things that are important to us. Right? And sometimes it means giving up Netflix, the binge watching of Netflix, which is going on inside my house right now, drives me batty. But anyways, but sometimes we have to give up those things to move us forward to what we really want. I'm not in there tonight binge watching TV with the rest of my family. I'm out here talking to you all because I have a direction, I have a goal, and I know what I want to achieve, and I want all of you to be able to have a life that doesn't revolve around the boob tube. Anyways, sorry, calling out my family a little bit. Anyways, what I also love about Young Living is that you can build this business a ton of different ways to suit your style. So you can do it my way. For those of you who know me, I love talking. I love being in front of a room. I love doing live classes. I'm starting to enjoy doing these Facebook live classes more and more. I enjoy doing one-on-one presentations. But for some people, maybe they like building online. And you can, with the power of social media, you can build an entire business online. One of the highest paid, if not, I believe, the highest paid person in Young Living, built her entire business online. She was a blogger. I don't think she ever even did an MLM before. She's got 2 little kids. She was a blogger, just kind of fell in love with the product and started sharing, and a business started to grow, and she started to learn, and the next thing you know, she's making, and hear me carefully and clearly, I am not saying this incorrectly, she is now earning $200,000, actually plus. I think I just saw a thing of $269,000 a month in Young Living. All starting from just sharing the Young Living on her blog and just kind of building an empire online just by meeting people that way. Although not all of her team members share that way. She even has gone as far as to write a book about doing your business online. But people also can use Young Living as an adjunct to the current business they're doing. We have a lot of people who incorporate Young Living into their existing businesses: chiropractors, massage therapists, animal trainers and groomers, fitness people, dentists. With Young Living, this just isn't a cookie cutter kind of business. You can do this business any number of ways. And there are so many leaders in this business doing this business in so many ways that you can find people to follow and learn in your way what resonates with you. Because I know that there's not everybody in my team is getting up in front of a room, but they have found a way that they are sharing their love of oils their way. And I support them in that. And we support each other in how we do this. Everybody builds on their own strengths, and they just go accordingly from there. So what else with Young Living do I love? All right, so here's this. There is no income ceiling. So as I mentioned earlier with a corporate job, you are pretty much limited, and even a small business ownership job. With a corporate job, you are limited to your paycheck. That's what you get. Maybe you're lucky you get a Christmas bonus. If you've got a small business one-man show or two, whatever it is, you are limited to what you can do, pretty much. That's all what you can do, what you can be there for. Whatever. When I taught Pilates, I was limited to however many people I could fit in a day, and that was it. All right? The average monthly income for a Young Living Diamond, and there are a ton of them. Remember we talked about earlier, only 1 or 2 people getting to the top in this business. I meant to look up the number, and I will get it later for you. But there are tons of diamonds in this business. And these are people earning, the average diamond earns $40,000 a month. So these are people making well over, $500,000 a month. And the only ones who don't get there are the ones who give up. You can just keep making more. There is no income ceiling. There's nothing to stop you. The income disclosure was just released by Young Living, the newest version, the 2016. I will post it on this later. But I was kind of looking through it, and that's kind of where I've been gauging some of this information from. And here, it looks like this. And I'll kind of post it a little bit later. But it's pretty awesome. It tells you exactly, again, how what percentage of people are doing the business, what people are making the median, the average, what they annualizes yearly, and then how much time they're putting into that business to achieve these different levels. So this is really a great thing to look at, and so forth. And I kind of already mentioned a few. Even a senior star. So a senior star is just if you're sharing about $2,000 worth of business is going through your business. Legs don't even matter, and I'm not even going to go into any of that kind of stuff on this call, but it just matters in general that about $2,000 worth of business is going through your business each month. And for even a senior star, the highest senior star is paid, if I'm reading this right, $5,000. It might say 3, but I think it says 5. My eyes are a little funky in this site. The average one is making about $250 a month. So what could you do with an extra $250? I know I could pay for my oils order every single month with $250, and probably a little sum from there as well. But for some people, that $250 pays for their kids, dance lessons. For some people, that extra $250 is, spending money on their vacation. $250 is a month is definitely, for some people, a big chunk of change that helps them do something that they might not be able to do. So even sharing a little can really make a difference in your life. The timing. Let's talk about timing for a moment of Young Living. It has never been better. 3 years ago when I started Young Living, not a lot of people knew what oils were. I had to talk about, to explain what oils are. But now, it seems like everybody knows what oils are. You can find them everywhere. They've been around for thousands of years, but there definitely has been a resurgence. And the reason being because people are out there looking for natural solutions. Their eyes are opening up. The media is starting to tell us, talk about all these toxins and all these terrible things in our products that are hurting us. They're taking things off the product, off the market. In the past 5 years, Panera has cut all the chemicals from their salad dressings. Big corporations like Kraft, macaroni and cheese. One of my favorites was when I was little, the orange sauce, right? They've now taken the dyes out of that. People are starting to flip over their boxes and their bottles that they're eating and that they're using on their bodies and asking questions, becoming educated consumers, and they're seeking choices. And we at Young Living are ahead of the game. A lot of people, when they talk about network marketing, they think, oh, you got to get in at the ground floor. You got to get in when they just start, or you're not going to ever get in anywhere. You're not going to make any money. Well, the truth is, that is so not true. Because Young Living has been around for over 20 years, and we have just in the past 5 years hit our stride. We are a rare $1 billion a year company that we had just achieved that last year, and we're on our way to do it again. We sell over 100,000 kits a month. That is a lot of people out there looking for what we have, and yet it's also just like a little drop in, a drop in the big sea of people that are out there. People want these natural solutions, and we have over 200. Our oils, we got over 200 of those. Fantastic. We love our oils. We can do amazing things to heal our bodies physically, emotionally, and spiritually. But we also have over 200, and actually they're about to release 70 more in another couple of weeks at convention, oil-infused products. And to me, that's where the wellness, the purpose, everything comes in. This is, Young Living is a whole health company, and they've been a whole health company from the beginning. So they already have doing it and doing it right. There's no learning curve. We are well above the curve as this surge for natural solutions where people are looking are there. So we are easily able to give them what they need. And in doing that, we are making a great living. But what happens, as I mentioned earlier, you work for a company for 40 years and you get like the clock at the end, and if you're lucky, maybe a pension that might work for you. But with Young Living, you can actually, your income is willable. So if you were making over $3,000 a month and you write up a will and you fill out the Young Living paperwork, you can actually pass your Young Living business down. And Young Living, I'm going to talk about in a minute, is a residual income, which means that this is money that continues on and on long after you've worked, because there's a business that you have built underneath you that continues on and on. So your family is going to be receiving, cash every month that you, long after you're gone, are still able to provide for them. That warms my heart more than anything. I mean, it really, truly does. My kids are going to be incredible financial and all successes in their life. I know that whatever they do in life, but to know that they never have to worry about it, if I could leave them that legacy, that to me would just be mind-blowing. So, residual income, I talked about that. So what is residual income? That is doing the work once and getting paid over and over again. So I've got people on this call who I introduced them to Young Living. I talked to them about it. They purchased a kit from me. And then from there, I became their oily guru. We became, attached, right? I saw a lot of you. We started sharing. I started teaching. I started educating. They started to get excited about the oils themselves and learn a lot more of them, a lot more sometimes than even I know. They got on ER, the monthly program, and they started purchasing the oils. It just has become a part of their lifestyle. The products are just what they use instead of what they used to purchase. All of that work I did that first time to get them the kit, I don't have to sell a kit every single time. I don't have to call them up every single time. This is a business, they get it now. This is part of their life, and therefore they keep ordering every month, and therefore the residual income continues. Also with Young Living, as we share and as we climb the ranks, they give us these awesome guaranteed bonuses. These bonuses come in the way of oils, they come in the way of products, they come in the way of trips, they come in the way of cruises, they come in, just all different incredible ways that you can do. And when you're talking about residual income, I always think about things like, well, what happens if somebody gets sick? Or if you want to take a vacation. Or for myself, I just had a big celebration with my family last month, and I had to kind of step away from my business. Not completely. I'm never completely out of it, but I certainly wasn't in it as I always am. And you know what? I had the best month in my business I've had since the beginning. And that was with me doing like a quarter of what I normally do. Why? Because I've already put the effort in. I've trained my people who are training their people. And that's what this is all about. All right, let's see. Most people did not set out in this business. So if you're on this call saying, oh, I don't do business, this is not, what I do. The truth is, I would say most of the people who are doing this business did not set out to do this business. Out of all of my people who are in this business, only one came to me from the beginning and said they wanted to do this as a business. Most of them, it was a year after they had been using their oils and loving their oils, and then their friends started asking about it, that they started to kind of get into wanting to share the oils. For some, it's just a matter of they just give their friends their member number, their friends order a kit, and then they turn them over to me. And for some, they've chosen also to make this their passion, their goal, with different goals to retire themselves or pay for their own oils or whatever it may be. So financial freedom, this is kind of wrapping it up a little bit, but really in the end, it's really what it comes down for me is financial freedom. So everybody defines that differently. For me, I define that as me being able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, wherever in this world I want. I can give freely whenever I feel like it. I cannot work when I feel like it. I can work my butt off when I feel like it. I can just live my perfect day every day and always have more money in my bank account than I can ever spend. To me, that's security, that's comfort, that's peace of mind. I don't need millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in the bank. Of course, that will be nice. That number is different for everybody. I've got a friend, her number is $30 million in the bank. More power to her. I don't need $30 million in the bank. If I had it, I certainly wouldn't shy away. But my number is a little bit different than that. I just know that I always want more money than I could ever spend so that I could feel comfortable and know that when I one day leave this earth that I can pass that money down to my family so that they can, they can have that same peace of mind. So, if you can't tell, I love what I do, and I really just want others to be open to the possibilities Young Living has to offer, whether it's today, whether it's a year from now, whether it's just offering this up to a family member or a friend who you think this might be a perfect opportunity for. Whatever that is, talk to myself or talk to whoever's invited you to the Oils 365 group, just a little bit more about their story and their take on Young Living, and, and just go from there. And that's really all I got to say about that. So, I guess that's a Forrest Gump quote, right? So, anyways, this was exciting for me to be able to talk about this. And the more that I talk about it, the more my own excitement level gets up. I hope that for those of you on the call, your excitement has gotten up and that you're out there and you're wanting to share a little bit with your friends. And if this wasn't the thing that resonated with you, I truly appreciate that you came on this call, or if you're not on the call right now, that you're listening later, and that you just heard me out and just were open to hearing, because that's what this life is about. It's just opening ourselves up to the possibilities, taking what works for us, and passing on what doesn't. So that's all I got to say tonight. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.